Everybody, Scoutcrafter here again, TGIF, and boy, another fast week, huh? And what a beautiful day today is. Look at, can you see that sky? That sky is just beautiful with the speckled white clouds, and really what made my day is you can see over here behind me, just over my left shoulder, you could see those, remember those weeds I let grow? Well, I found out those are purple asters, and what a beautiful plant. Let me show you a little closer. Now, I let these weeds grow to fill in an empty area, but looking closely, now that they've grown about 6 feet tall, these things, I've realized they're purple asters, and they will, you can see the buds all over here, and eventually they will develop. So I can't tell you how excited I am about that. All those buds will be filled with beautiful purple lavender color flowers in a while. Also, we got a little visit from Pipes here. Wants to say this hello. Is Pipes, probably one of the best stray cats I ever saw in my life. He's a feral cat, yet he's the most lovable cat you ever saw in your life. And right now he's looking at the squirrel. So let's get downstairs, see what we got going today. We're down the shop, and okay, like I said, you know, I told you a while ago that I stopped buying tools. Okay, well, I slowed down buying tools. All right. So, anyway, I was on eBay the other day, and I happened to come across a lot of pliers. You know, I'm a plier guy. I love pliers. And I've been looking for this one pair of pliers for a long time, and it was in the lot, and along with some other unusual tools. Now, when I belonged to the tool collecting club, the Antique Tool Collecting Club on Long Island, we used to have a meeting every few months that was a what is it meeting, or sometimes part of the meeting we would have what is it. So people would bring in tools that they didn't know what they were, and there was a bunch of tool collectors there, and between all of us, we many times still couldn't figure out what the tool was. But it's been a long time. Normally my buddy Dan Semmel, who I would bring these tools to and ask them what they're for, but you know, we don't have the meetings now because of the COVID. So I'm going to ask you to help me out, figure out what these are. Between all of us, I know there are a lot smarter people than me watching this, so maybe we could figure out what these are. Let's go check them out. Here are the pliers I got. I paid about 20 bucks with shipping, so I got a good deal on them. Let's figure out what these are. Okay, first off, we have this lovely pair, but let me clean these up a little bit. I don't want you looking at dirty pliers. Okay, here we are. We cleaned them up, wiped them down with a little WD-40. What these are, you can see these pliers here. They have a, and these are formed this way. It's an Aviation specialty plier. It's called a AT508S, and it says a skin, maybe a skin fastener or something. You can see that it clips. I'm sure that we have some aviation mechanics in here that knows what it's for, but you can see here has a pin. Maybe it's for the skin of a fuselage of an aircraft or something, for putting those pins. I don't know what that is, but maybe one of our viewers can help us out and know what this is used for. So this will be number one. Okay, number two, we have, I don't like primitive tools too much, but this is definitely looks like a homemade tool or something a blacksmith would do. And you can see it's a little bit rough, but you can see here it's got these, you know, clips. And I think a spring was supposed to go here. So let me see if I got a spring to fit in there so we can get really the idea of how this tool works. Okay, now here's a quick tip. If ever you go, now these spring assortments are great. Everybody needs to get one of these, you know. I got a couple of them, different types of springs, but you see the best types of springs you can get if you ever come across these long ones like this, because what's so nice about this is you can custom cut the spring to whatever size you need, like that one we did here. Now this isn't the correct spring, but you can see it gives it the correct spring action, you know, but it's not the way the spring, it probably used a sleeved spring. Anyway, you can see here the kind of clips in here, so how this might work. And look how thin that is. That's pretty thin. So if you had to get in here and pop something up or something, I could see how this would come in handy. But has anybody ever seen something like this before, or what this might be used for? This is number two. Number three, I got pretty lucky with, because if you look over here, it has a model number, and it's West Germany, so you can know what that's dated. But what's nice about this is Ghidorah. And Ghidorah is a fantastic tool maker, but here's the model number here you can see. But from what I can understand, it looks like they said a hose clamp pliers. Now you remember the old hose clamps that had the two two little ends that you would squeeze together or whatnot. And this is a stopper screw. So you would screw this here. You would lock it down with this this little nut here, and that would allow you to, you know, keep it so it doesn't slice into it or whatever. But these are really a pretty pair. Ghidorah makes such beautiful tools, and this is an example of their workmanship. It's probably a little oil hole here too. Just a nice tool, huh? But that is the hose clamp pliers. They still make them today, a little bit different. Okay, number 4. Now, this I found pretty interesting, huh? Because, you know, again, when you pick up something like this, I'm looking at here, and look at this here. You can see what this says, a vacuum grip, Newport, USA, vacuum grip. So, I did a little Google search. Now, a vacuum grip was a trademark, more or less, of these little holes, and we know them because Snap-on acquired vacuum grip, and they changed it a little bit. You'll see some of the Snap-on has the vacuum grip or whatever, but this one here, you can see that these were needle nose pliers that were, obviously, they were made into and it looks professionally done. It doesn't look like it was done in some guy's garage. And the way they patinaed the whole thing, and here's a number here. You can see, I wonder what that means there. But isn't it something like this was a specialty tool made, and I'm only assuming that this was made to grip something to turn, or maybe to close something, to insert like a snap ring or something. I could use your help here because I don't know. And I think it's pretty interesting because the way it looks, right? It's a professional job. It doesn't look like it was just thrown together real quick. I bet you there are other ones out here like this, but they used a good needle nose plier and repurposed it. So let's talk about, what do you think that is? And look at here, it's got a little ledge around the top here, so maybe that means something too. Maybe that's for opening up a ring or something like that. What do you think that is? I have no idea. Next up, we have these, and I know these look like welding pliers, but let me clean them up a little bit. Take a look at what they are. Okay, here we are all cleaned up on the wire brush. Just did it quick, and you can see again, they are all there. Welper YS50 model, and these are, I guess, MIG welding pliers. Now, because I don't weld, I just would like to know, are all these for those welders out there? This probably had blue grips over here because it looks like this would be a good candidate for plasti dip because it has a stop up here. But my question is, it's got obviously these grips here for, you know, tightening same here. It's got knurled grips up here for smaller, wire cutter, I guess, for the MIG wire, and this is maybe a tip cleaner. Maybe that's why these are kind of sharpened. And my question is, for you welders out there, do you use these, or, you know, like other people, you know, we use regular channel locks, or we use this, or is this something that is often used for welding and things like that? You know, are welding pliers a must-have if you're welding, or are they just kind of a novelty or a gimmick? Let me know in the comments. Pretty cool. Okay, last up. This is why I bought this whole lot, because I saw these years ago, and I have a knockoff pair that was broken, and I always want to get these. This is an original pair, although it's not marked. I don't see any names on here, and it is quite patinaed. You know, this is true patina here. And you can see what this is and how it works. There's a little, watch this, you see that? So it gives you a grip, not just a 2-position grip, but you have that third one coming up that, you know, if you want to grip a bolt or nut or whatever. But pretty interesting, right? Let me just clean it up. I'm not going, like, I'm not going to do any polishing. I just want to clean up. And now there's a little bit of slop to it, and I'm wondering, I'm going to put it in the dake and see if we can tighten it up a little bit, because there's excessive slop, if you ask me. You see, that's kind of too much. So let's clean this up, and then we'll see if we can get it a little tight, and then figure out how this is used. Okay, we're here at everybody's favorite, the dake. Oh, I miss you. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the cone from this cone to this cone, because we only need a small part. So let's switch that off. Okay, you can see here we changed off to the stepper cone, and we put a regular flat steel plate here as the backing. Now, if you look closely at this rivet, you could see that when I press the bottom up, you could see it extends up a little bit. You see here, like, there's a little play in here that I'm hoping that we could squeeze down. So We'll put this under there, give it a press, and see if we can make it just a little bit tighter. Now, I'm only going to put, that there's 2 tons. 2 tons, it don't need much, but let's see. Definitely took out some of it. Let's do it from the other side, give it another shot, and see if that helps. Here we go. Give it one more shot on this side. Got to center it and give it a night. Same thing. We'll give a. This time we'll go about 2 1/4 tons. Okay. Again. Oh yeah. See that? Much better. Much better. Took out a lot of the slop. This requires a little bit of slop because of the action, but definitely made a difference. You could have peened that down with a hammer and stuff, but you know the dake is so much fun. Now, you know my favorite part. Remember what these pliers look like before we started. And we are calling this project done. I know I was just going to wire brush them, and then you know what happens. I don't have to tell you. But let's take a look at these now. Aren't they pretty? I mean, ever since I saw them the first time, I said, that's a cool idea. You know, look at that, how that third jaw works its way up. It's very tight now. I have the, no slop in it anymore. Polished all the handles out. You know, didn't do a mirror finish, but it's acceptable, right? And, got the angles correct. It was a little bit bent. I had to bend back one of the arms using a pipe and the vise, but look at that. That's just interesting, isn't it? I love interesting and unusual tools, So let's give this a try. See how it works. We'll get the nut tester and see what this is like. The original nut tester. This was made mostly for sockets and things like that. But for this, we're going to switch it around, and we're going to use the bottom side because I think it'll give a better a view of how we could do it. And I'll put the camera more. I think I'm liking this view. Now, let me show you here. When you open this up here, the pliers, I'm just taking this nut here to show you an example. But now with normal pliers, we would grip the 2 sides or whatever. But you see how this one here comes in and locks into that bottom? And look how nice that works, right? I mean, that really works well on a nut. I don't know, maybe a round tube. We'll check it around. But isn't that a beautiful fit on there? It grips 3 sides. You get the flat here on the flat. And that ain't going anywhere. So I think this is a nice design. Let's try it on something round. Now, here we have just a round piece of copper pipe. And you can see we're going to do the same thing. But you see here how that third jaw, when it closes down, you see what kind of grip you get? It really does give a good purchase. So I don't think these are a gimmick. I think these are actually usable. They're well made. There's no name on it, so to speak. I just see these 2 little V's. You see that little V there and there? That's all that's on there as far as name goes. It's got wire cutters on the side here. These ones always work well. On the bottom of it, it has I guess a nail puller and a little screwdriver. So I guess it's kind of a multi-tool. What do you think of these? I think they're just... I like them. Now, the fact that there aren't too many examples of these floating around today tells you something. Either they were not a good, someone didn't have the right selling, or they didn't get the right company to back them up, or they could have been kind of like, a bunch of prototypes out there. Somebody was selling them at the back of the car. You don't know with these tools, but, it is interesting. That's what I like about finding out about old, unusual tools, where they came from and the history. Okay, so in closing, we have 6 pair of pliers that I bought just so I can get that one, but I would have paid, this one was well worth the money. Like I said, I paid $20 total for the lot, and this is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Feel free to leave some comments on what you think of what we spoke about. This is all about tool discussion. Anyway, this was a lot of fun. So in closing, feel free to chime in on what you think of the pliers, or if you had a favorite one, or whatever the case may be. But thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great weekend. Take care now. Bye-bye.